Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we're playing with the new Huda Beauty Jaguar palette. Huda released 4 palettes. I will show pictures here. I think there's the wild tiger, the wild python, the wild, I don't know, the bright colored one, and then there's the wild jaguar. And I was immediately most interested in this one. So this is what it looks like. It has this nice holographic packaging. And this is what the inside looks like. I've already seen quite a bit of reviews on this one, but I wanted to add mine and I wanted to do 3 looks with this one. So I'm going to do 1 look on each eye, then take it off and then do a 3rd look on both my eyes. So you can see the full impact of these shadows. And I'll of course give swatches and my opinion on this palette. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Real quick before we get started, I want to thank you so much for clicking on my video. I hope you liked this video, and if so, please consider subscribing to my channel. I upload 3 times a week with makeup related content. I review lots of things and I also revisit a lot of older makeup. I do project panning since this week. So if you're up for that, please subscribe to my channel and enjoy this video. So I want to start with the 3 looks and then I'll give my opinion. I'm going to use my Glam Light primer because I found that this primer is nice and tacky, and if you don't use too much of it, it doesn't crease. So I'm thinking that for the first look I want to do mainly the grays and the black. Then for the second look I want to do a little bit more with the gold. And then for the 3rd look I want to keep it as purple as possible because that's what really drew me into this palette. I think that will be the best look. I of course am mainly interested in the middle shade, but the others look pretty too. Ooh, there's actually a sticker, which I hadn't taken off yet, apparently. I really like these smaller Huda palettes. I own 4 of them now. I have the Nude Rich, I have the brown toffee and the brown caramel. Alright, so I'm first going into this shade over here, which I would call a dusty lavender. Wait, let me zoom you in a little bit more. I'm going to put this in the crease. Pigmentation is nice. There is a little bit of kick up in the pan, but I never mind that, unless it's like half the eyeshadow, but this is still within reason. I'm going to build it up nice and opaque, because I think all 3 looks are going to be quite dramatic. But as you can see, this builds up very easily. It blends out around the edges. It's almost like I used 2 different eyeshadows, but I only used the one. Yeah, that looks beautiful. I mainly use this brush, but I am cleaning it up between uses. I don't have an extremely extended brush collection. Okay, now I'm going straight into the black, and I am going to use the same brush. I think this is more of a buildable formula for black. As you can see, it does build up nicely. But it's not extreme pigment right away. Which is fine, you know. It makes it more workable. I'm going to really build this up in the outer corner and then also bring it through the crease. And I am making a little bit more of an elongated shape. And it does keep on building. As you can see, it gets pretty dark. I'm going to do 1 more layer. Now I'm going back into the first shade. And I'm just going to blend out the black a little bit more. Ah, I didn't clean my brush up. I really should own multiple of these brushes. It'll be on my wish list from now on. As you can see, there is a little bit of a line now. So I'm trying to clean up my brush really well, and I'm going into the more creamy shade. And I'm just going to go over the edges here. The shade is a little bit darker than my skin tone. So that would be the base. I'm just going over with the gray again. I think that's alright. Now I am going to switch brushes. I'm going to use this Too Faced brush, and I'm going into this shade again, and I'm going to put that underneath the lower lash line all the way through. And then I'm also taking a little bit of the black. And with this same brush, I'm going to see if I can build up the black just a little bit more. Right here in the outer corner. That's the way I want it. So now we're going into the shimmers, and I'm not going to use any glitter glue. I want to see how these perform on their own. So I'm first taking the little bit more dark shade over here. Really picking up a lot on my brush, and I'm going to put this in the center of my eye. This is a beautiful shade. I don't know if you can see it, but there is actually a bit of a green tint in it. It's like it's between a gray and a gold. I'm trying to blend it into the gray on top. That's beautiful. And then I want to take this more silvery shade, and I'm going to put that more in the inner part of the lid. I really like that silver as well. I'm also taking the silver right here beneath the lower tear duct. And in the inner corner. There's actually not a light shade. I would usually just pick a highlighter to do the inner corner. But I wanted to see how this works. See, this silver has a bit of a black base. So now the whole eye is very dark. I would usually keep this open. And like I said, pick my highlighter, a more silvery toned highlighter or a white, as my inner corner. But it works. So I did get a bit of fallout. But I must say, this eye looks pretty good in my opinion. So I'm adding some black liner. And I'm also going to add some mascara. And that's the first look all done. I think you have to imagine this with a full face of makeup, and then it'll be really pretty. I really like these metallics, and I really thought the mattes performed very well as well. So that's it for look number one. Let's go into the other eye. I'm going back with my fluffy brush, and I'm now taking the medium or even dark toned, more brownish color. And I'm going to put that all the way through my crease. And now I am trying to keep the shape a little bit more round, because I'm going to do a halo eye. I do really like this shade. It's almost like a burgundy. I really find Huda's small palettes to be very versatile for having only 9 shades. You really have a lot of options. She gives you enough mattes and enough shimmers to really create some different looks. I'm going in with that smaller brush, and I'm taking the nude shade to see if I can blend out this brown a little bit. Yeah, that works. So now I am also taking the brown shade underneath the lower lash line in the outer and inner corner. And with my halo eyes, I actually like to make the inner corner dark as well. That really focuses all the attention on the middle of the lid. I did forget to take it into my outer corner, so I'm also doing that. And I am taking the nude shade to blend out underneath the lower lash line. As you can see, there's a very different eye shape between these two. So now we're going into the gold, and I'm taking my flat shader brush again. And these metallics, they're sort of creamy. So you have to put in quite a bit of pressure, but then they pick up nicely. That is a nice gold. I'm taking it up pretty high. And I'm also taking it in the middle of the lower lash line. And with the same brush, I'm also going into the brown. And I'm going between the two shades. Make sure they're nice and blended. And that's it, that's a very easy look. I'm going to see what happens when I use my finger to build up the gold a little bit. Yeah, I like that a lot better. I'll add some liner and mascara on the other eye. So, and that's the second eye look all done. I really like this palette so far. All the shades blended out nicely. And they build up very well. It did take a couple of layers to really build them up to their full potential, but that's okay, they got there in the end. I do like this look a lot more than this one. But all the shades were really nice. So, now I'll wipe these off and we'll do the third look. So I wiped off my eyes. As you can see, there's still a little bit of grayness around them. I can't seem to get that off. I'm just going to cover it up. So now we're going for a nice purple look. I'm going to start with my Too Faced pointed brush. And I am going to start with the black this time and see if I can build up from there. I think I'm going to do basically the same shape as the first look, but now I'm using the purples. And I do like the fact that this palette is so dark. You don't have to use the black to still get a very intense look. As you saw in the second look, this one is pretty dark as well. But if you want that ultime black look, that cool toned look, then you can use the black. As you can see with this brush and starting with the black, it does build up quite intensely. A lot quicker. So I'm taking it out in a bit of a wing shape. And I'm also taking this in the outer corner of the lower lash line. Making sure to connect the outer corner itself. I do like this black shade, but I must say it takes a bit of building up. Maybe a little bit more than I would ideally like. But that's the basic shape of the eye. I'm going to repeat the same on the other eye. I went a little bit higher with the black on this eye, so I'm going to fix my mistake by making the other eye a little bit higher as well. And I think this one needs to be a little bit higher too. No, they're pretty much the same. So I'm trying to clean my brush really well. I'm also taking it on my hand. Really make sure the black is off the brush. And I'm going into that lavender shade. And we're going to see if this blends out. I think it does. I think it's working. Because for a really dramatic look, this is the way it is ideal to apply your shades. And I wanted to see if it would work. I think it blends out really nicely. I'm also blending out the lower lash line. And if it goes a little bit too low like it did here, that's okay. And then finally I feel like we need to blend out the purple a little bit. So I'm going to use that nude shade. And I'm just going to go right here. Yeah, that took down the harshness of the purple. But I do feel, and this might be the primer, I do feel like I have to build up the black a little bit now. So it took a little while. I've been filming for almost 8 minutes now. I hope for you this hasn't been 8 minutes long. But I do like the way this looks. So now I'm going straight in with my finger. I'm going to swatch first. These are the two purple shades. This one is a little bit more eggplant and this one is nice and bright. I want to use both. So I'm going in with the darker shimmer first and I'm putting that on the center of the lid. And I am blending it on top of the black as well, but only a little bit. This is a beautiful shimmer shade. And then I'm taking the more lavender shade and I'm putting that more in the inner part of the lid. Right there. And this is a different formula. This one is more, I'd almost say it is a baked gelée formula, but I'm not sure. It almost can't be because this palette is made in China. But I do really like this lavender shade. That's actually very beautiful. So I'm taking this pointy brush again and I'm going into the lavender. And I'm going to put that in the inner corner as well. And I think this shimmer doesn't have a black base, so it does lend itself for the inner corner. But these lavender shimmers are really nice and sparkly. Yeah, I really like that. I just feel like I didn't blend out the black the best way possible. I'm going in with my pointy brush and I'm going into that purple shade again. And I'm just going to try to blend out that black a little bit better. Especially right over here. I just don't like the way I blended it. Or it could be that the shadows are just not the easiest to work with. Yeah, I think this is the best I'm going to get. It's just, it would have been nice if there was a lighter shade than this one, but not this shade, because this is not ideal to blend anything out. It's just too big of a difference. More of a matte within the middle range would have been nice. But oh well. I'm going to add some liner, some mascara, the rest of my face makeup, and I'll come back for my final thoughts. So this is the finished look. I gotta say, I'm happy with the end result, but it did take a long time to get here, and I still think the blend on this outer corner could have been better. And I did try to build it up several times, so I think that's just the blendability of the shades isn't perfect, or there is, like I said, one shade missing. So let me do some swatches, because that's what I forgot. They do feel really creamy on your fingers. They look really pretty. This is the second row. Build up the last one just a little bit more. So this is the palette. As you can see, that one skin tone shade is pretty much my skin tone, but you can see there's actually a little bit of duochrome action in that lavender shade, and I feel like the gold also has a little bit of a something special. You can see how beautiful they are. They really are quite shimmery. I think what I'm most surprised by is this one. Because it has this sort of green gold reflex, but it is a grey, and I think that one is the most surprising to me. But my favorite shade is this lavender one. I don't think it swatches that well, but it does look really pretty on the eyes. So yes, I did get 3 good looks out of this one. I really did like all 3 of the looks. So I think this will be a palette I will use a lot. But the quality isn't perfect, and I think that's just... I think I noticed it with my Nude Rich palette as well, that the darker shades, they don't blend out perfectly because, well, compared to my skin tone, they are very dark, and it is a little bit difficult to blend out a very dark shade without something of an in-between shade. So I think that's something that this palette is lacking. You could of course use this shade, but I think there should be something in between those two. And then I think this one should be a little bit more grey toned. I think this is a very superfluous shade, in my opinion. But this is a surprising little palette, and if you are looking for something nice and cool toned with a very dramatic color scheme, I think this is a nice one to grab. It's about 30 euros. I think it's $29, but it's 30 euros here. I picked mine up at Ici Paris XL if you are living near me. That's my thought on this palette. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope you enjoyed my 3 looks. Let me know what your favorite look was. Also, give me a like or a comment if you did like this video or if you have something to say, and I will see you in the next one.